we should have the circle come in and tell us, like, if we do open up multidimensionality, what's on the other side that would make us even want to open up multidimensionality? Okay, give us some breadcrumbs.
Okay, well,
am I going to be riding, unicorns and hanging out with fairies? Because I might want to open up multidimensionality. That sounds like a good time.
Where are the unicorns?
How hot are those other guys in the other dimension?
Yeah, that's right. The shiny aliens. Those multi-dimensional frequency babes. Where are they? And babettes.
Could I hook up with a centaur?
I know. Hook up with a centaur. I know.
Welcome to Spread Your Third Eye podcast. I am your host, Mia Wright, with our resident guest, Georgia Jean.
Hello, everybody. What a joy to be back as always.
We just had an episode that we recorded, and I am telling you, this is a gateway when you are here listening to each episode, okay? And this is holy grail status. I'm not kidding. The fact that this is in your reality, you are at a certain level at this point.
You are.
Because this stuff is...
Give yourself a little pat on the back. Give yourself a little pat on the back, for being here.
This is mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah. It's not everybody's ready to process the energies and the concepts. So if you're watching this, and especially if you're like hanging all the way through to the end of every episode like an absolute cosmic rock star, you deserve a bit of a cosmic medal. We might have to start giving them out. Like,
So support us, share, like, subscribe.
It really helps a lot.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do to put it out.
There's only so many planetary templates and inner work that I'm trying to change the world.
Yeah.
I need you guys to do your
All
do
you
your
have
part.
to do is like, share, subscribe.
Okay, do
We're
your part.
Transmuting in the collective energy.
You all need to integrate your shadow too. It can't just be me, okay?
Yeah, exactly. We're all in it together, team. Yay, cosmic team force, space force. And I want to throw in as well, please do me a solid and buy my friend Mia here a cup of coffee. Look at the link below. All those coffees you buy keep her cracked up on high energy. So she has the positive focus, joy, vibrancy to pull all this together, to work with the editors.
Yes.
She really puts
buy
it
me a
put her heart
coffee.
and soul. Buy her a coffee.
Take care of me too.
Please take care of her. That really, I mean, I bring the channeling, you bring the coffees, okay? Is it a deal? Let it be a deal. Because she works really hard to put this together. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so this is going to be an exciting episode. Now, we covered on an episode pineal gland opening.
Yeah.
And we're going to segue into this next step of truly how to open up your multi-dimensional.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much unfolding all the time. Like, I'm excited to channel on this because I feel like even probably what I channeled in the last episode when we talked about it may have evolved. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I will say, being someone who's been through the journey of opening up multidimensionally, that it is helpful to understand a few things.
For sure.
About opening up multidimensionally. And because people get really excited about it, like, oh, I want my gifts to open up and I want my abilities. And isn't that cool when you start getting information from like your spirit guides or whatever you want to, or you get some telepathy on with your friends. Or it's just like cool, it's fun. And it is supposed to be like, we're opening up to open up a new creative playing field as well. And it should be fun. But because a lot of people are opening up with that old human biology in place, the old 3D self tends to make it a little bit unfun.
Well, actually, I want to tell a quick story.
Yeah.
One of the very first sessions I had with you in the Circle of Light, I said, I really want to get into this like spiritual stuff. And the Circle of Light was like, you better be seated in the heart.
Yeah.
Because time is moving faster. Energy is moving faster.
Yeah.
And if you start opening up to this stuff and you're not seated in the heart, you are living in a world of polarity.
Yeah.
And so the lighter you go, the more shadow you will create. And they said that and you will create a visceral experience of something dark.
Yeah.
even though it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Because you're not seated in the heart. And they were very stern, and they're not usually like that. That was the one thing they said.
Well, because we have had, people who've really suffered from, kind of ending up in like quite almost like horror movie feelings where feel like they've ended up in another dimension where everything's like super dark and all and like heavy and all this stuff. And it's a lot of that is, as you say, because when you open up, because we're still generating our reality, even we're generating like cool multi-dimensional, woo-woo stuff, we're still creating it, and it's still coming through us as a projector. And not everybody is talking about this like it's sort of like an responsibility, basically, to actually acknowledge that, and then also get the fun side of it. It's like, okay, yeah, if I open up multi-dimensionally, I want to enjoy like the cool version of it. Not the spooky,
the light dark,
light dark, weird dimensional stuff. And a lot of people, because they don't understand that we are really creating our realities. Start to think that some dark force is doing stuff to them, which starts to become more and more disempowering.
Yes.
And it starts to hit people's nervous systems more. And once the nervous system is more, like anytime you're feeling like someone's victimizing you in some way, your nervous system's going to go into fight or flight. And that increases the polarity.
And then that confirms maybe there is heaven and hell, and you're against the Bible. And I told you this is hell.
Yes, exactly.
And you're like,
actually,
more
it's
than that.
Just like it's a Maya you are creating now about multidimensionality.
Yeah.
And we're really trying to open up with like that kind of clear glass, like the clear ego, which it has as few, I mean, we all have we are projecting everything. So we are like, but as fewer psychological projections, and especially the psychological projections that come from the nervous system. Remember when we were like in the cave fighting over the mango.
The health conscious caveman.
You'll have to watch another episode to catch that in joke, but it's coming. Oh, you've already seen it, but it's when we're like fighting, there was there's an immediate like friend foe. So when the new energies are coming in, the nervous system, which doesn't recognize them, is starting to just go friend, foe, friendly frequency, foe frequency. And then the mind starts to generate that version of reality, which is friendly frequency, foe frequency. So it's kind of like just the same in life, that we have to work through our shadow projection. It's kind of like dating the multi-dimensionality, like a lot of times we're probably going through like a lot of challenging relationship struggles, not to end up with the soulmate person, but to really clear it out energetically.
There's the shadow work coming in, guys.
Shadow work, everybody.
You better just get comfortable with the shadow work,
baby.
Get
comfortable with the uncomfortable feelings. Because if you want to open up multidimensionally, you don't want all that stuff like lingering behind, creating like ooga boogas in the multidimensional. Because again, energy is moving faster, and so if you've got and it's powerful. So if you're projecting a dark energy in the multidimensional field that isn't as restricted by the space-time laws we have in 3D, that thing's got more power and more power to move around and do things to you and stuff like that. So it's
can I just repeat one more time that the circle did remind me that is an illusion.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you are projecting and creating that because you're in a world of polarity.
Because you're in a world of polarity, but we are projecting everything. So we don't want to. It feels very.
Don't want to scare you.
Don't want to scare you, and also don't want to deny that you might have had. If someone has had a rapid awakening, for example, and had some like real spook fest stuff happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm just laughing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And people have.
People have, and people are opening up rapidly, and especially there's a lot of reasons why people are opening up rapidly, because it's part of what's happening.
Yeah.
They may be force opening.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff, and no judgy, but it is happening that suddenly people are like, why can I read my neighbor's thoughts? I've had people write me long emails. Especially after they saw me on Interview with Extra Dimensionals. They'd get like, I'm just losing my mind here, and I can, and because
it's like taking a hit of acid without
yeah,
consent.
kind of just being like, what is going on? And it is happening. So our big message is always bring it back to the heart. So get your focus out of your mind. If you're having spook fest out there in the multidimensional field, you've got to pull your focus out of your head and into your heart, which is really just focusing the energy, focusing your presence in the middle of your chest and generating life through that, because that's how we really want to open up the multidimensional field, not through this mind polarity, because then we could and collectively we could create some really things before we transcend that illusion. So
guys, and leave a comment if you want us to have a masterclass of how to be heart-centered.
Yeah.
With listening to all these episodes, and we'll put that together. Just give us some feedback.
Yeah. Give us some feedback if you're out there. Like, what do you want? Because we want to talk about this obviously there's a milieu of things that we can talk about in a channel about everything.
Yeah.
But how can we help you?
How can we help you? That's the number one is getting into your heart center. How do you stay into your heart center?
Do we have an email list on the website?
No.
Okay, we got to get on that because that's a good way, or people could join my email list as well, or we'll get one set up on Spread Your Third Eye, just so we can.
I'm not the techie person.
Yeah, she's not the techie.
You do that,
computer nerd. It's not all glamour in the multidimensional field, right? So so be heart-centered, really work on your heart-centered. And again, I would even say for some people, if you're not opening up, it's because your broader self is trying to protect you from that and wants you to get more heart-centered before you can safely open up without freaking yourself out, because these frequencies that are coming in the multi are not recognizable to our nervous systems. We have to train ourselves. We do a lot of work with softening the body, relaxing. When you go into meditation, make sure you are also relaxing your body, because that's how you're telling, like doing little releases of tension, that's how you're telling your body that you're choosing to have this experience, that it's stay and play, and that opens up the spaciousness for these frequencies to come in and actually do the biological adjustments that need to take place to be woo-woo.
If you're not subscribing to her Monday Night Awakenings, this is how they come. The She channel is every Monday from 6 to 7 Pacific time.
Yeah. And
has you relax. And they actually do energy work on you. Everybody who calls in is actually getting energy work to help you put it on these grids that are coming up into the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
I mean, they're attuning
if you really want to
every
dive
week.
In, every week we're doing attunements.
It's so worth it.
They've always done some kind of physical progressive relaxation. I
don't miss a Monday.
Yeah, she doesn't miss Monday.
I'm not
if something really big, high frequencies coming in, they usually spend more time on those progressive relaxations because it's about getting everybody ready to receive, rather than like that energy when they'll dial it up. They'll be like, okay, increasing frequency now. And then they'll dial it up. I feel it'll be like and you don't want everybody to go into like a nervous system reaction at that point. So the way the meditations start, there's always like coming into the now moment, come into the heart, relax the body, release tension, open the gateways, and then
it's really cool because they'll tell you what's going on in the world right now. Like, okay, so there's a new energy shift, and there's a new what stage. We're gonna attune you every Monday.
It's really important to note that even if someone has a rapid awakening, it's usually not just straight out of the box. Like I had a knock you to the floor experience, but leading up to that, there was years of meditation, hypnotherapy, guided circles, therapy. It didn't just come out of like I was a total meathead, and then I'm like, right. I was, priming and also listening to, again, lots of Abraham Seth. I was already pre-attuned. I didn't understand what was happening, but I was being pre-attuned to the frequencies. So we could, your brain has to wire. You can't create an experience, even a woo-woo experience, without brain wiring, being able to do it. So That's but we also have the boot camp moving on to the 5D grid, which is all about this, how you get your body ready to like open up energetically and attune. But anyway, there's lots of resources.
Okay.
Just if you're really like, man, I want to like get more attuned and I want to, wow, wouldn't it be cool to be able to do this stuff? Like if you can sort of understand it more as a process that is, and if you're really, if it's meant for you and you're probably going to be interested enough and already guided to take the steps for it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're like, oh, that'd be cool, but, so like, whatever, motocross more, then maybe you're just out riding motocross. I mean, I'm a skydiver. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just like, if there's something else that you're more into.
Well, I think that, too, we should have the circle come in and tell us, like, if we do open up multidimensionality, what's on the other side that would make us even want to open up multidimensionality? Okay, give us some breadcrumbs.
Okay, well,
am I going to be riding, unicorns and hanging out with fairies? Because I might want to open up multidimensionality. That sounds like a good time.
Where are the unicorns?
How hot are those other guys in the other dimension?
Yeah, that's right. The shiny aliens. Those multi-dimensional frequency babes. Where are they? And babettes.
Could I hook up with a centaur?
I know. Hook up with a centaur. I know. I know we have quite a lot of male viewers as well, so we should be like, it's like the galactic, like 12-breasted lady gonna come.
Yeah. 12-breasted?
I remember having like this book.
We'll just give you 3 boobs. 3 boobs
to start. That's like fifth dimension. Maybe get 3 boobs. You got to work your way up to the 12th dimensional Arcturian hot stuff, babe. I'm just like, it's actually coming back to me now that as a kid I had this strange book which was like drawings of all these like space aliens and stuff, and but it was like
there was a 12 tit.
There was a 12. Like whatever, like kind of like snaky kind of hot snake lady.
That sounds a little like shadow worky for me.
It was a little shadowy.
I need to integrate
I'm
that.
kind of like, I don't know how I ended up with this book. I'm like 8 years old, like sex goddess of the galactic whatever. I don't know, but anyway, it's just that's so funny. It's coming back to me. I wonder if that. Oh, it's
interesting.
God, yeah. Little seed planting. But anyway, all right, well, let's bring in the
circle. Before we bring in the circle too, I wanted to remind everybody that when you are in your heart center, it neutralizes the polarity.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's also the future of the 5th dimension.
Yeah.
Is actually conscious of the collective is going to be running our projector or consciousness through the heart center and balancing this polarity. And that is our future, guys.
Yes. And the illusion of separation and the survival struggle, everything that's created from the mind. We talk about it all the time. It's super helpful to understand. And we bang the drum on it.
We got to do it.
We got to do it. We got to do it.
It's the real deal.
It's a real deal. So we want to get that everything, our physical reality, our mental and emotional, spiritual and energetic, and that woo-woo multi-dimensional really opening up through the heart. And so it's going to be very balanced. Everything gets balanced by the heart. It's good for me, good for everybody.
Yeah.
We don't need, creepazoids coming in like doing weird stuff with your computer and whatnot. Yeah.
And I did want to make one more point before the circle comes in, that I did ask, well, why aren't all these spiritual teachers then, if this is so crucial, why aren't they talking about being in your heart center? And they said it's because the technology is not built enough to hold all of the human collective right now.
The energetic technology
is not there. So that's why a lot of other spiritual people aren't talking about it. They're breadcrumbing and stepping and giving steps and steps to get us there.
Yes.
So if you're, again, sitting here with us, listening to this information.
You're ready to get on the 5D
You're ready
babies.
to hop on.
Because
you got the VIP pass, baby.
VIP pass backstage at the 5D disco. Let's go. But it is kind of like that's basically the phases and the stages and why suddenly there will be like a wave of awakening and people are they're like in their garden and just planting tomatoes for the season, and then like suddenly boom, like they'll have a pain. Like same with me, I obviously was in some kind of early I know there's people who've come before me obviously, but there's still a fairly early wave compared to how many people now are open to channeling and talking
Yeah,
about
oh,
this
tons. I
stuff.
live in
And
LA and it's like everybody. It's wild.
everybody,
It's great for
wild. Yeah,
me.
yeah. She's like,
Finally, I fit in somewhere. I was the weirdo in
come
my
home
other
to
town.
roost. Yeah,
Yeah.
now. So it's sort of those, and LA is a big energy spiritual vortex.
I learned that now.
Yeah, all
I'm
of
like,
my
wow.
stuff happened while I was living in LA, and Encinitas is where the event actually happened. But it was this massive time in my life. It was like massive spiritual awakening stuff going on.
Yeah.
And there's different pockets everywhere, but
Yeah.
here people kind of really run with
Yeah.
run with the thing. So yeah, so
Yeah,
let's bring them
bring the
in.
babies
There was
on
a
in.
slight thought that I had that's trailed off here, but
I'm sure the circle of light will get
they'll
it.
pick it up, but they're like, just not worth mentioning, lady. Sorry.
Move over.
Move over. Oh, we're coming in. We're coming in. Okay, here we go. Hi, yes, indeed, dear ones. We are here and we are most delighted to make connection with you here on another magnificent day in your earth plane. It's always a great delight to come forward in this way, and we are really pleased to contribute more to this topic. So we do want to pick up where George's trailing thought left, which is the idea of the multi-dimensional grid and why there are these stages and phases of people opening up and developing abilities or becoming more attuned or just feeling they need to get on the spiritual path or having certain things that happen that start to put them into the, perhaps that, as you call it, dark night of the soul state, where they're facing a lot of their deeper programming that has driven them into some kind of unpleasant experience often all of the times, but for the purpose of opening up those pathways to the higher frequencies and to the creative reality that is beyond the limitation, the contraction of the 3D primitive mind programming, like limitation, separation, polarity, all of the suffering based. There is a lot of suffering in the 3D experience. So again, we like to remind you that it's very challenging to share exactly what's going to happen because you for so long have been operating under this system. You don't have points of reference.
Yeah.
What is a world without suffering? Even starting with that, you really don't know. What is a world where everybody is living in a state of abundance?
Wow.
You don't really know. Wow. What is a world where there's so much less resistance and more creativity? It's a much faster moving creative experience as well. So, but you're doing it in phases because, of course, there's elements of your life as you've had it that you still love. This isn't about ripping away the fabric. It's allowing new possibilities to come in so you can begin to explore integrating this kind of multi-dimensional reality with your current reality and passing through what do I want to keep, what do I want to get rid of, and where do I want to journey more into sort of energetic multi-dimensionality integrated with physicality or not. So
wait, integrated with physicality or not?
Yes, so in the sense that your physical experiences are given to you through the system of your physical senses. So physical manifestation is what you're mostly still in, physical manifestation. And but not all manifestation or not all experience is just physical, because feelings aren't physical, dreams aren't physical, energetic experiences aren't necessarily physical, or they could be both, because they can change the nature of physicality itself. And we were sharing some of those concepts with you about even your sense of life forms, what you're sharing the planet with, what you perceive to be the physical bodies of animals, of plants, now expanding into including a perception. And a perception is where your brain is actually able to process something, so you have an experience of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not physical, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It might be an energetic feeling, but it is a strong enough visceral experience in some way that it is part of your reality. It's part of your experience. So perception is how everything is kind of experienced.
I just thought for a minute you were talking about maybe losing our bodies here on the earth.
Well, that can be part of it too.
And like, just dancing around in like spirit.
So here's the thing. You have a body, and that is your physical container for your consciousness. Your body is also consciousness itself. And your body also is partly what generates your experience of reality.
Yeah.
So are you going to stay alive and totally disconnect from your body? It's kind of tricky to explain this, dear one, because even your memory of an experience of leaving your body is processed by your brain. So you never really fully leave your body. But what you do leave or move beyond is the sense of time and space as you generally process it. So if you leave your body, if you astral travel, for example, people might say, well, I left my body and I went to this other place. But what is sort of happening more is that you are dropping any aspect of your framework that places your consciousness only within your body.
Okay.
And you're transcending the time-space limitation.
Okay.
Yes. So can you collect in areas and experience life outside of what your body is limited to experience? Yes, you can. You can commune in other dimensions together. You can have experiences with each other in other dimensions in the same way as we are transmitting
like
now.
Like the autistic kids are on.
Indeed, yes.
On the
telepathy tapes has helped people understand that there is a communing of consciousness that exists outside the limitation of the physical body's sense of time and space. So let's sort of, you've got your body and you've got the way your brain processes information and puts it all together for you. So you're still receiving your reality through that processing, if that makes sense. But what you're doing is you're attuning your biology to the biology of the brain and what processes that experience into something that you sense, that you have an experience. That wiring is changing. That wiring is changing on a biological level as well.
Is that like the Schumann resonance is bringing us the new wiring, the solar flares, the upgraded DNA? Is that the all rewiring?
It's all sort of part of it. It's all consciousness coming in.
This portal that they're watching right now, this gateway, certainly. You are also rewiring the people who are listening.
Yes, because there are frequencies that are responding to your inquisitiveness. We're not doing anything to you.
Okay.
That isn't being called by you in any way. We also want to make that clear that you're not sort of like you're in the soup now. And no, we are responding to every individual's call. Mm-hmm. We are matching frequency and information.
Okay.
And also, not just because obviously only in this now moment, Georgia and Mia are having this experience. We are responding to whenever somebody engages with this at any point in time and space. That is going to happen. So that's why it is a portal, because it is transcending time-space.
Wow.
And frequency transcends time-space. High frequency transcends the parameters that reality is generated from when you are operating in a linear time-space reality. Okay. So high frequencies come in. So let's just say your construct of time and space is generated in this frequency range. 3D frequency range.
You'll have to explain it for the people who are just listening.
Oh, so we have our hands held together in a sort of we're just creating a construct with our hands to demonstrate
like
a circle, like a physical space that's energetically created by the parameters of the energetic grid that generates a linear time-space reality. But new frequencies are coming in that are building new energetic structures that create more viscerality of what those codes can essentially become. Of course, and as we also talk about a lot here, it's all in partnership with the earth. Nothing becomes physically, materially. If something's going to shift on the material, physical level, it's done in conjunction with the earth.
Okay.
And your brains are part of that physical, material manifestation that you're working with the earth, which is why earth is supporting you. The earth grids support these shifts. So there are...
So make sure to ground, guys, because that's just as important.
Very important
in your heart
too.
center.
Yes, people might say, well, grounding is just about being in the earth, but we're saying to you, grounding is allowing these potentialities to become of earth. So
earth is giving you the codes of creation that make it into physical.
That in terms of physical manifestation, yes, the earth as an intelligence holds all the codes of creation of anything that would become physicalized here on earth.
So a lot of your manifestations, your life, everything,
you have
to be in your heart center and commune with the earth.
If you're communing with the earth, you're going to get access to a lot more codes. Now, a lot of dear ones who do feel more multi-dimensional or galactic can sometimes struggle with not feeling like they belong here. But we're saying to you, you may be struggling with the human construct, but the earth construct is quote unquote separate from the human construct. The storylines that are generated by humanity that you may not currently relate to is not the earth construct. So make your own direct connection, relationship with the earth, because the earth is supporting you here as a creative entity. There's no existence here without support from the earth. And you are supported if you're living here, but if you really want to thrive, if you really want to manifest, really open up that connection much more powerfully with a lot more receivership than resistance. If you're really in that, like, I hate being here on earth, really what you're more saying is, I'm having a hard time with the human experience here on earth. It's the human experience that creates a lot of the suffering. So you want to shift that and be like, all right, I'm working in union with the earth to bringing all of this potentiality that has evolved in other dimensional realms to help seed it here on earth as part of the new creative playing field. So the energy grids that are being built up, just getting back to that first sort of topic or aspect of this topic, is that the energized grids that support the way the human collective has been experiencing reality here on earth have a lot of energy in them, have been strongly energized, because a lot of creative energy has gone into that. Lots of incarnations playing out this earth game. There's lots of energy there. But it was collectively agreed upon to start to shift out of this old 3D version and upgrade. And so energy has to be harvested from that grid and put into the new grid. So the more of you who are sort of meditating and opening up to your broader consciousness, that maybe those starseed vibes that you feel affinity to more than perhaps even human vibes, you're helping to bring those in and help establish the new energetic framework. And some of you are like harvesting the energy and putting that energy in the new energetic framework. As the new energetic framework becomes more substantially energized, it can support more people playing on that grid. So you can't have, just like you have one power outlet and you have 45 people trying to play PlayStation off one power outlet, you're going to kind of blow the circuit, basically. Yeah. So you're basically opening up the portals, opening up the new power outlets, building the grid, more people coming on. And you'll have a kind of timing for that as well that you might be preparing for with events that are happening in your life that might lead you to meditation, or might lead you to be like, I need to ground more. I need to I need to understand why this chaos, why am I dating these terrible people? All of these things are to help you understand that psychological framework that's generating your reality and how to dismantle it enough so there's more brain power, because remember, as a biological system, you're using your resource of energy to generate that reality. So you have to free up the brain power to start to allow it to train, to learn the new frequencies, and then to start generating that reality. And this is a significant step. This is why it takes time to adapt into your real multidimensionality. Some people incarnated with a system that was highly functional for multidimensionality, but they may not have enough resources to operate their biology very well, which is what you see with the storylines with the autistic children who have high multidimensional functionality, and they're processing enormous amounts of multidimensional information, but they have been less so now, but more out of step with the collective agreement of reality, and less energy to operate that biological system in a reality where the grid frameworks haven't supported multidimensionality either. So you will begin to see that there are groups of people who have struggled on some level, even with their biology. There's a lot of people who even get into their spiritual path because in some way their biology isn't working well. They're chronic illnesses, this sort of thing, because they might have a hybridized system as well, where it's part built to operate 3D and part built to operate 5D and to be transitional. So a lot of weaknesses in the physical system may be because energy is also being directed to this other system. So of course we always do attunements that are helping your chakra system as well, which is how it is the other aspect. So you have your biological system that projects and perceives your reality in this kind of continual feedback that you experience life to be. And your chakra system as well is the sort of energetic, there's the energetic system that does that. So most people have incarnated with a 3D chakra system, which projects the 3D reality, or a hybrid system. But the chakra system itself is upgrading, because you can't project a 3D movie using a 2D movie projector. You have to have a piece of different technology. So we really would like you to understand that you are biological and energetic technology. The body is that hardware. Okay. And that is going through upgrades to the point that you can operate in the dual reality, as many of you are right now, and then slowly more and more the 5D grid gets stronger. What happens is the 3D reality starts atrophying off more. The qualities of the 3D reality start atrophying off more. It's a process, yes.
And it's a slow process. It's not going to be super abrupt, like Dolores Cannon said, like the two worlds split, and like you're going to be... But I want to ask you about...
So what people are sort of intuiting with that two world split is this idea of the energetic frameworks and the distribution of consciousness that's playing in those fields. Those two worlds.
Frameworks.
And because the Earth is a multidimensional playing field, even when we talk about 3D and 5D, it's kind of a simplification because there are other, as we've discussed before, energetic portals and sort of dimensional bandwidths that are also playing out here on Earth, but you're just not experiencing it because your operating system is more designed to just process one set of information. You don't want to process the whole universe. When you drop this biology, you'll be back there in the oneness with everything, processing all that is. But through your current system, it's too much information it'll
blow your circuits.
It will blow your circuits. And it's not really the game.
Yeah.
It's not really the game. You're not playing Zelda, Mario Kart, Game of Thrones all at once.
Yeah.
It's too much information. You want to kind of move in. And again, this is why we talk about the heart center really guiding you for this process, because you want to have a fun experience with this. You don't want to have all the horrors of, yes, opening up multidimensionally, but still being seated in survival, because that is really going to make things challenging if your biological and your brain is still running in survival and you're opening up multidimensionally.
Well, so a lot of people are really interested in this, and it seems as though the way all this new energy is coming in, that it's already shifting a lot of us without consciously trying to open up multidimensional. But can you give us some insight on if we wanted to open up multidimensionally?
Yes.
How do we do that?
Indeed, yes. So as we said, some people are not opening up multidimensionally yet because there's a sort of a protection around your process there, because there isn't enough integration or clearing of the psychological framework that would actually make that a bit of an uncomfortable experience.
I'm offended right now because I haven't opened up multidimensionally, and I guess I'm just not ready with all the work I've done.
That is not, but that's not really the case, dear one, because you're having a multidimensional experience right now, and I
just want to be astral projecting every night.
Yes, but you've been processing a lot of your survival consciousness and sort of clearing that out.
It takes time. Apparently.
It takes time. So what do we recommend? Again, understand that it's a process. If you're drawn to this, you're probably in your process.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody has this like, when we're going to get there, But consciousness isn't really like, there is no there that you get to. It's an unfolding thing.
Yeah.
You only have to look at your history to see that consciousness is always evolving and things are opening up all the time.
Yeah.
You don't recognize the shifts in how you've been generating reality, but this is a much more significant shift. So what do we recommend for you? Of course, the heart centering and remembering that the heart will show you what is most important that you clear out, because a lot of people are sort of like, again, if I'm heart centered, everything should feel fun and fanciful. But to really get seated in the heart, to open that gateway, the energized psychological frameworks do need to be dismantled so you can stay in your heart long enough and consistently enough to really generate that reality. Because what sort of happens is you pop into your heart, you flick on the multidimensional or the heart-centered projector for a moment, go, isn't that nice? But the amount of energy that you still have invested in the 3D reality, the 3D grid, pulls you back into analysis, worry. This is where we talk about the shiny toys of the mind, pulls you back, living more of that. So understanding that the heart-centering practice, it's focal and process. Focus in the heart, process what comes up resistance-wise. And, of course, we recommend the love and acceptance. Yeah. There's multiple ways that people process their, whatever you want to call it, shadow energy, 3D energy,
or just,
energy that's
trauma energy, collective
energy, generational, all this sort of stuff. And the people who are doing a lot of that collective generational energy are harvesting big energy to help support building
more of that.
The 5D grids for the next generations as well. They're really shift crew on the.
You're welcome, guys. Yes. You're welcome, kids and grandkids.
Grandkids, yes. One day you'll energetically be like, when I was a youngster, we walked 5 miles to school in the snow, and they actually experienced it differently. But anyway,
that's funny.
So work on the heart centering. Work on the dissolving of the mind-based framework.
Okay.
That would create a mind-based energetic experience, because you don't really want that. So earth grounding, releasing resistance, understanding that everything around you is consciousness. You are consciousness to each other. You are even the air around you is consciousness, even though you don't feel it. Everything is consciousness. So we talk a lot about softening the line of the 3D egoic self, the little me, which is really that idea of release. You identify yourself as where the skin of your body is. You're like, that's me inside of that skin. But really you are what's inside the skin itself, and what's beyond the skin. So if you can drop that tension, a lot of times people are doing this sort of bracing and tensing against what is around them, maintaining that singular egoic identity. It's highly unconscious, but that physical tension maintains both the internal psychological framework, because you might be resisting parts of yourself, and the tension of resisting what is around you. So this sort of physical positioning.
Ooh, crossing your arms.
Well, just generally, but we're showing you crossing the arms
for the
listeners, crossing the arms, because you sort of understand that as a defensive stance. But if you really tune into your body, you will find often there's a very subtle tensing and bracing what is outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you can really soften that, think about this as like softening and receptivity, allows the frequencies to just come in and start to do that work of the biological adaptations. And part of the reason why we hesitate about giving you specifics is because we understand that the human egoic framework can get a bit of information and become know-it-all and then start fighting with each other about what it is, and that puts you back into the mind, into the polarity and all of that sort of stuff. So we're inviting you to be more open and receptive and allowing and surrendering, so this can happen through you rather than you having concepts of how it should be now with your mind and then trying to direct the energy in that direction. So even as we release energy to or information, intelligence to the human collective about what's coming, it is delivered at a time where what is necessary for the adaptive shift at that moment comes through. So if you look at some of your very popular trailblazing channels, a huge part was to just get it across to humanity that you are vibrational beings and that you are in a creative system. So why channel different pieces as well is because there is the information that is delivered at the time for the adaptation and the understanding that's happening in that moment, and that is most beneficial for all who are receiving it, but also seeding an awareness that starts to shift that vibration as well. So you're getting information now, but you're also receiving attunements and consciousness through these processes that's helping to seed the next level of what is happening. You will experience changes in the landscape of how you perceive Earth, how you perceive life on Earth, how you perceive reality. Also understanding that even concepts of afterlife, your memory, your experiences of and we want to give this to you in a way that honors the experience. When you communicate with somebody who is crossed over, you're having a communion with the intelligence that they were in physical form.
Yeah.
It still exists as intelligence. So you are communicating with the intelligence that they were.
Yeah.
Their spirit, as you would say, no longer in a physical form, so often released from some of the biological programming that governed their lives and gave them certain amounts of their personality. If people are trying to make peace, for example, with a crossed over, a parent, something like this, a lot of the biological programming that might have made a challenging relationship in real life will be released with the biological release. And what remains is the consciousness that they are without that part of the biology, if that makes sense.
You mean without the part of all the problems and the judgments and...
Well, a lot of that is often coming from the survival consciousness or some kind
but
of
you're saying biology.
genetic encoded imprint, yes.
So that's within the biology. You're saying just releasing all that and then it's just complete love, unconditional.
And it's the essence of the consciousness. So all of you come in as an essence.
Yeah.
And then your body is consciousness. So you merge your consciousness with the consciousness of a body. So but you come in with an essence. And that begins to shape
your personality,
your biological function, a lot of it really begins to shape your material life in general.
Okay.
Like what kind of experience you're going to have physically, of course, is it isn't just that, oh, I incarnated with an athlete's body and now I'm an athlete. It's just more like this is the machinery that creates that reality that I experience. And that includes, we talk about this as well, biological belief structures and so on and so forth, that you believe, because your biology gives it to you, that you are in linear time and space, that you're a singular egoic identity operating through a storyline, and that's it. Now that's coming in from the biological belief structures, not your stream that incarnated. Okay. So when the biology is dropped, the biological belief structures, wherever they're coming from, your collective belief of this is why ghosts can now move around because they're no longer operating under the limitation that your biology says that you're in a singular linear time-space reality. So you are relating when you have a connection to which is something that people love to have as a multi-dimensional experience. I want to connect with the crossed over aspect. Crossed over simply means the body has been released, but the consciousness is there at a certain vibrational frequency field where that personality can still exist.
Okay.
All right. So sometimes there is some level of reconciliation that needs to happen before an energy that's crossed over becomes fully free of some of that sort of psychological process. Which is why, so when you think of ghosts more, it's like a fragment of that aspect that hasn't released some piece of that programming that's still kind of like looping somewhere. So that at a certain point that can release. I'm
like, ghost, get your shit together and get out of here.
Dude.
No, I know.
Indeed.
Come on.
Yeah, just love yourself, ghost. That would be enough.
Love yourself.
You're allowed to go into the white light, but which is really the transformational space where all of that psychological
quit haunting me and everybody else
can be released. But you may find that you want to have more interaction with your crossed over consciousnesses, and that's part of the multidimensional playing field. Yes. Again, we would say do it through the heart, so you're not resonating, creating, generating from the painful part of the psychological relationship you have with that person, but from the interconnected oneness. So actually,
your two higher selves meeting.
Yes,
in a way.
In ways, yes, and just tea party with transcended auntie.
Or hey, I want to hang out with Jesus today. And Archangel Michael.
These are consciousnesses that it's so always when you're starting to come into incarnation, it's like consciousness is saturating into denser flavors, and the physical being like a very dense, all right, it's in a body now. But again, there's the Christ consciousness, which is the frequency, and then the character of a Jesus or a saint or even what some cultures would call a demigod or a deva. It's a saturation of intelligence that's holding a lot of that frequency.
Okay. Of like a Christ consciousness frequency, but different.
Yes. So Christ consciousness frequency has been held by many.
Oh, wow.
But then when you say I want to hang out with Jesus, it's a certain like saturation stream that embodied.
Okay.
Same with Buddha, or even the concepts of Dalai Lama, this sort of thing. It's a stream that starts saturating into a form, and that form can be a person, but often with a big stream like Christ consciousness, it's multiple people holding that gateway open, just as you're doing now.
Yeah,
it's collective.
Because you guys you're not just a single whatever.
Indeed,
you're a collective of souls or a collective of energies.
Consciousness responding to the point where your inquiry is going to. So at some level, that could be, and it's also to do with the channel. So again, with your as you're opening up to multidimensional abilities, the way you're going to process intelligence, consciousness, energy, that might be a crossed over person, is a different bandwidth than 1 degree of source energy.
Yeah.
None of it's better or worse. It just is different. It's got less saturation of the human egoic framework there. So the capacity to pick up different bandwidths is the pineal gland, is what allows you have 12 energetic connection points, and depending on how partially or fully they're open is what bandwidth
you can access,
what section of consciousness you can access.
Yeah.
So people went, I want it all, but it's sort of like one musician doesn't necessarily play all of the instruments in the orchestra. They might play 5, but they're probably not going to play every single one, because they're not going to be able to master the processing of the information of all of them, such that there is a real ability, a noticeable ability. Yeah. Because you are all, to some degree, processing some of this information, but mostly you live under control of the 5 physical senses, how the brain processes the information that comes through the 5 physical senses. Yes. And some people don't even have all of those senses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but as you open up the pineal gland, you're actually opening up receivership to allow more intelligence to come through these energetic connection points, which is then synergized by the brain into your experience. So we always say you wouldn't have all 12 open because you wouldn't exist there.
Yeah, you just pop out of your body.
You wouldn't even process reality as having a body.
Yeah, you would just be that. You'd go back to that oneness with 12 in it. You wouldn't even have.
You're just
that's oneness.
Back in the
you're
open system. That's right. When you yes, that's right. So what is death, in a sense, is the full opening of all. It transitions you out of this perceptual reality. So if you're going to open up your abilities, you may open up certain of those energetic connection points, and that's going to give you strengths and weaknesses in certain ways of doing it. And everybody has a different interest, and also probably a pre-designed brain and energetic system that's going to make some of those openings easier than others. Okay. And you probably already have more of an interest or an ability in that arena anyhow. So you can always look at, again, just how do I generally experience life? Somebody who is quite psychological might do well with opening up on that personality side with crossover beings.
Oh.
Because on some level, they understand connection with other people. It's just a different level of it, you see.
Okay.
Some people who are very auditory musicians stuff most likely will open up strong clairaudience because the brain's already wired to process that information. So and again, your heart has that sort of map of how that can all open up. You can intend it, you can invite it, you can ask for it, but allow the process to happen through the heart, because it will be a more graceful opening. What can you psychologically handle? People get excited with these ideas, but if an alien came and sat on this chair right now, even being this open,
get the gun, shoot him, he's ugly,
indeed,
looks like a freak,
humanity would have a nervous system reaction to it.
And, monster.
And consciousness that would like to become more formed and interact is, has an awareness that most of you know if you're going over to a relative's house with how well you're going to be greeted. And you might wait for signs that sort of Grandpa Joe's in a good mood. Oh, this is a good time to come and visit.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and it's really about just energy connecting at different levels. Anything that materializes in that way has to be processable by the brain. Your capacity to experience what you might call extraterrestrials, extradimensionals, is still connected to, can your brain even generate this reality? Yes.
So be in your heart center.
Be in your heart. And this is why things like meditation, heart centering, dissolving the mind, love and acceptance, working through your trauma, the psychological aspect is important. The other thing that we highly recommend is the power of the presence work, the now moment presence work, spending time in each of your physical senses to become very attuned to them. And we do this work a lot in the conference calls too. It brings you into the now moment, which makes you more receptive and open receiving vessel for these, what you're asking for to come through.
Your manifestations and all the things.
And it also gets you more attuned into your senses as well, and into how your brain is processing information that's coming through sensorially in some way. So your biological senses, as you know it, the whole intertwining between the way the brain processes information coming through your physical senses and even interacts with that opening of the pineal gland is how your brain, because when we said the pineal gland is a multi-dimensional processor of the brain, it's still processing material reality as well. It's putting it all together in a way that it's giving the brain the sequences to kind of work on building that pathway for this pathway for that. It's actually sort of helping the brain to understand, well, what is material at this stage and what is non-physical at this stage in the operating system I'm in the bandwidth that I'm in. So it's helping, that sort of helps. So yes. So, but relax, think of yourself as being more receptive, get out of your mind wanting to direct how it's going to happen, what's it going to look like. If you're open and willing and heart-centered, there's probably a way it's going to happen for you. You also, again, we like to introduce this idea of the waves of the energetic grid technology itself needs to be strong enough to have more people playing in that
this
field.
5D.
So
basically,
so that could also be why you're not opening. It's not your turn to kind of go online on the 5D yet.
That is, and then we'll end here. But that is the calling card right now. We have to fuel or energize that energetic grid to the fifth dimension. And that means doing more of that work internally.
Yes,
Loving
helping
and
with the harvesting
accepting,
of the energy
harvesting
from the
all
old
the
framework.
stuff from the news and from
Yes.
all the
Yes, and even your own personal
and
stories.
your own personal storylines.
When you're going through a highly charged situation that feels beyond what you seem to be able to manage from your little me's current level of coping or negotiating or working things through. It may be that that charged personal storyline is holding a lot of thematic collective energy.
And that's
why
to
a
harvest.
lot of people are having a challenging time, but you want to harvest the energy
all
from that old
programs.
stuff. Yes, that's the place to harvest
that's
it from.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yes, you don't want to harvest it from the unicorns.
No, we don't. Yeah, so we're alchemizing right now.
So we like to leave this idea, we may have shared it with you before, just a basic idea. So there are people who are attuned, yes, to communicate with crossed over people. And if there is a crossover person here and both people are attuned in the same way to be able to communicate with that crossover person, what is reality then? You're having a conversation, three-way conversation with a non-physical being. That is a new reality.
Yeah.
There isn't really, it's a shared, so then we're giving you this idea that more people have to get on it so it can become your shared reality.
Collective agreement.
Not just the channel or the medium, the person who wants to communicate with the person and the energy. So as you're all opening up more, it becomes more of a shared experience.
Okay.
Shared, and that becomes more what you experience your reality to be, because when dear ones are saying, well, am I losing my mind? I feel like I'm going crazy. What they're really experiencing is that they're perceiving information intelligence and trying to process as well, which could also be going through psychological distortions, but they're doing it in a solitary way. And this is why community is very important, and why we share this way, because we want to give validation to the experiences that dear ones are having out there. Many dear ones have been opening up in situations of isolation. We want to give you validation. There is no real going crazy. You're having an experience of reality that you're not getting to share with anyone yet. So more people open up, the more it gets shared. That's how it starts to become the new collective reality. People won't bat an eye when Auntie Doris comes in to the dinner table, when everybody's perceiving Auntie Doris as non-physical energy that's participating with the people who are in the physical body.
I love that.
Yes. So, and this is why a lot of people also are experiencing that beloved ones are crossing over, because the psychological relationship is something that people long for. They want to have that connection, and that desire helps to also activate the opening up. So as the veil lifts more and more, which is really just the energization of the new framework, while the old framework is atrophying. That's really what the veil lifting is. That's the atrophy, and this is the strengthening. People are going to have more crossed over energies that they psychologically recognize existing in that framework. And that familiarity helps to put an anchor into the processing, because if you know Auntie Doris from your life, and you know that whatever, she loved pink and she loved tea, when this energy that is Auntie Doris starts becoming more palpable and perceivable to you, if Auntie Doris is now drinking coffee and wearing black, which she hated, your brain is able to go, that's not quite right.
Yeah.
And it's actually the training part of the brain to reform the way it's associating the frequency of Auntie Doris into what you're perceiving.
Wow.
So this is why it's helpful to have something that's very familiar crossed over,
and
because it
work with
helps
that
with that attunement. Even when you're opening up energetically, you will get your predictions wrong. You will get things wrong. Don't beat up on yourself about it. realize that that is data for the brain. Okay, I didn't get it. I wasn't totally accurate on that.
Yeah.
And then the brain is able to adapt its associations and how it's delivering your visceral experience of your multidimensionality. So this is why, again, it's an attunement process. You don't want to have one message that's come through once and be like, this is the truth, and then go on a wild rampage with it, which some people do. They have a vision or something, but they're not actually multidimensionally attuned and adapted enough for it to be cleaner, clearer, that clear glass concept where it's not full of distortions still coming from the nervous system, imprinting, patterning, and programming. So the more work you're doing to dissolve your conditioning means the clearer your glass is to bring in those frequencies and have and share then. As Georgia is sharing multidimensional information now, she's done a lot of work to clear the channel so it is as clear as she can be from psychological inputs.
Yeah. Thank you.
Indeed. Yes, dear ones. We are available as well. Remember as well that when you're sleeping, you are dropping your egoic framework. So that's a wonderful way for you to direct intention. If you want to open up and you want to attune, you can write it down before you go. This is, of course, why people traditionally pray before they sleep, because they
traditionally pray before they sleep because
there's the dropping of the egoic framework, which means intentions generated at that time before sleep can be carried through in that time that you've dropped the egoic framework. It will help the wiring, and it just is your way of saying, hey, I actually want to experience this. I'm going to sleep now. Let's focus on doing this bit of wiring while I'm sleeping, and a lot of stuff is coming in while you're sleeping, but you can be a bit more intentional that way.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's a fun one to play with. Yeah. You can ask.
So you can invite the circle of lights energy in before bed and say, hey, can you help me open up my... So everybody has access to you anytime. Anytime. But while your egoic framework is resting, that tension of the singular egoic identity, there's more mutability in your system to be able to receive this stuff and start integrating it sooner. Okay. Yes. And then you can experience things a little bit faster. Yes. Thank you. Indeed. We love you. We adore you also very much until we're meeting in this way or some other way. We love you very much. And for now, we'll say goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye. Bing. 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 Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we love you guys. And if you want to see more of us, hit subscribe. Yes. If you want to come and visit and come and interview the Circle of Light yourself, go to spreadyourthirdeyepodcast.com. Yep. Or click the link below and fill out the form. Fill out the form, and don't forget to buy my friend a coffee. If something, you don't have to buy her coffee every episode, but if something really hit hard or helped you in this episode, maybe buy her a coffee. We love you. We love you. Bye. I will